Hello and welcome to the NBA Daily. It's the morning shoot-around. We're live on YouTube. I'm Dave DuFour, here with Es Baraheni. The show's presented by Amazon Prime. Thanks for joining us on YouTube or listening
What
on the
up?
pod. We put this pod on the feed after the fact, but if you ever want to join us live, we love to take questions as we go. And if you haven't yet, join our Discord. If you're listening to the podcast, the link is in the show description. We took a bunch of questions from the Discord, and we will also take questions from the live chat. But before we get to the questions, S, how's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Vibing out, We're kind of in the lulls of the NBA season, as we both know. January it's sort of weird because it's also the time of the calendar that matters the most.
Right.
But it's also the time where most of the conversation ends up being either trade related or injury related, or why is this team that was very good to start the year all of a sudden slumping related? Like, it's just it's kind of those are the three conversations that end up revolving. But yeah, I'm good otherwise, man. Kind of trekking along until the trade deadline comes along.
Yeah, we're almost at the halfway point, so we'll probably do like our bigger check-ins next week.
Yeah.
I feel like the first of the year, it's all trade talk. We've gotten past December 15th. We've gotten through the NBA Cup and Christmas Day, and we are a little under a week away from the January 15th deadline. So everyone is available for trade, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think like we're probably pretty close to seeing our first deal happen. Like, it feels like the Trey Young thing is just coming to a head. You've got his people working with, it seems like maybe only the Wizards.
Yeah.
Although Trey would like to go not the Wizards.
Brooklyn, Minnesota. Reported that today. Yeah.
Listen, I will say right now, I don't understand why you would choose Brooklyn over Washington, given what's the current state of the teams. I mean, it's pretty clear to me that anybody paying attention to the NBA, the Washington Wizards are on the path to being decent, at least. We don't know if they're going to be good.
I think it's more fun to be in Williamsburg, grab a beer in Brooklyn, like one of those things. Maybe he's a big IPA guy, I
will say, let me defend our nation's capital, one of our greatest cities. It's a walkable city.
Look, I have a sister who lives there. Yes, absolutely. It's
urban transit.
Yep.
We have beautiful parks and monuments and museums, that celebrate our
rich history.
Well, I would say storied, varied history. Listen, DC is a great place.
It is.
But the Wizards, the thing about it is it's a more natural fit today than it would be in Brooklyn.
The Wizards are a little bit closer to the, hey, we got to try to be competitive eventually timeline than the Nets are, right? Like the Nets are still, they started this year really when it comes to drafting 5 rookies that they had. And while we've both been impressed with their competitiveness, and Jordi Fernandez is a very good coach, I think overall the Wizards are kind of ready to take that next step, whatever that next step looks like. Are they trying to compete for a play-in spot? They are going to get a lottery pick this year. And so you add another piece to the puzzle next to, Alex Sarr and Bilal Coulibaly and Keyshawn George, who we like a lot. Trey Johnson, another guy. Like, adding Trey to be an organizer makes a lot of sense for the Wizards as they take this next step. I saw someone, I can't remember who tweeted this, but I agree with them that if you're trying to win a championship tomorrow, you're probably not trading for Trey Young.
Right.
But if you're trying to develop some young guys and get them to a certain point in their career, Trey might not be a bad idea for your team,
I mean, look, there's nothing wrong. Shot creation. Everybody's life gets easier. Yeah, offensively, at least when you play with a guy like Trey. And the defense for the Wizards, I think that it's going to be much better than it is right now. The guys are young and still figuring it out, but they've got some defensive talent. Like Bilal Coulibaly is very good on the wing. Obviously, I think Alex Sarr has a high ceiling. We'll see if they can just pull that all together. But the other thing is, I think the Wizards are just in a better position to take the Trey Young gamble. Right? They can try it out. And if it doesn't work, it's no big deal. They can literally let him walk. You flip the CJ McCollum, theoretically, the CJ McCollum expiring into what turns into a Trey Young expiring next year. And it's a low risk move because you've still got draft assets. You've got young guys on the roster that, might develop internally. And so, hey, if it doesn't work out, it's not that big a deal. Whereas for Brooklyn, I just don't think you can afford to make a deal for a guy like Trey and have it not work out. You also are going to give something up, whereas the Wizards are not. The Wizards, this is a free pass for them. Maybe they give up a second, but they probably get future picks that make up for the second because Trey is a bit of a distressed asset. To me, it all lines up for the Wizards making the move because it's such a low risk, high reward play. But for Brooklyn, it makes no sense. You even said, if I'm trying to win a title this year, I'm not trading for Trey Young. Minnesota makes no sense.
Yeah, I think that's one of those moves where like they're so desperate to find a point guard of the future that they're
but
trying
the money is so much. I mean, it would just be so much cash on their books. I mean, it's like $50 million or $49 million or something next year. So I just feel like the limiter there, Trey is a good player. Trey is not a great player. And can he be the second best player on a title team? I don't know anymore. Third, maybe. Assuming those other two guys are two-way guys.
Yeah, you need perfect defense. And it's just weird because like we both said this Hawks team was sort of perfectly constructed for Trey to give it its all. It hasn't worked out that way.
They haven't been healthy.
Why do you think it hasn't worked out the way we thought it would have been for the Hawks?
Well, I think part of it is they haven't been healthy. But the other part of it is, Trey is not exactly a guy who elevates his teammates all that much, to be honest with you. And I know the assist numbers are high, but
so wouldn't that be against the Wizards?
Okay, but the idea, I guess, is you bring him into your system, you try it out. He will create looks for other people. He wants to be the pass to assist guy. All the time. But he will not play off the ball. And so for the Wizards, they probably just need a guy to come eat up, hey, come eat up 70% of the possessions for us and create looks for these other guys and help organize the offense and teach them how to play basketball, basically. I mean, I don't know if this is a great move or not, once it happens. I'm just thinking on the books, this is such a low risk gamble.
Right.
That
on
if
its
it
face
works,
value. Sure.
Yeah. Because he's a talented player.
It's one of those interesting things because like every player that's potentially available at the trade deadline, nobody really wants. Like, it's that meme where it's like
perfect players don't get traded, right?
That's true.
They just don't. I mean, even Luka Doncic, and you can look at him right now. I can make the argument that Nico is probably
Luka is not a perfect player. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just funny to me because it's Trey Young, Anthony Davis, LaMelo Ball, maybe Domantas Sabonis, Jonathan Kuminga. It's like all these guys who are sort of the outside of Kuminga, they're like this bottom tier of star that are very difficult to build around. It's like, of course, every star.
Are they stars? That's the thing. It's like star contracts, I think, and star player are a different thing. A star player, I don't know if we can call Trey Young that. He has a name that we know, and I know he's been an all-star, and is he that right now? I'm just not sure. Stars win games, man.
Yeah.
Like true. Anthony Edwards is a star. That's a guy I want taking a shot. I just don't know if we can do that with Trey. But this is a good segue to our first listener question from the Discord. Thor, our guy Thor, who is always hanging out with us on the live stream. Besides Atlanta about to trade for maybe Trey Young and Giannis being on the market potentially, although I don't think Giannis is getting traded. I think that's over.
Yeah, I didn't mention him because
I have a Bucks take. We'll talk about it.
Doesn't seem like he's going to get traded. Yeah.
What are some minor moves that you'd like to see some of the top teams make? I want to specify this question a little bit here for you, S. The contenders, right? The 5 or 6 teams at the top.
Yeah.
What can they do? What moves? I mean, I think Denver, when they get healthy with this newly found depth, I don't know that they need to add necessarily maybe another shooter. But what do you see any of these teams doing, if anything?
So for the contenders, the lot of contenders, there's like different things that they can add, right? I'm going to bunch the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference, the Pistons, the Celtics, and the Knicks. In the West, I'm going to do the Thunder, the Spurs, and the Nuggets. Those are the only 3 teams. All due respect to the Lakers, who are currently the 3 seed, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, we're in agreement here that the Lakers are not contenders, right?
It is funny that they keep winning games, here and there, and like we don't.
And they have
respect them.
Luka and LeBron
I know.
and Austin Reeves and like the top 10 talent like they have the ability to win a series or 2 or 3. But can they?
Well,
so I
once
don't
they
know.
get to the playoffs, who knows, right? I just don't trust the defense, but also talent really
Okay.
does. I mean,
So
we've
let's
got
go
2
through this.
rising tides, right?
I think there's one team that should trade for Michael Porter Jr. in this bunch, and that is the Detroit Pistons. I think that's like the perfect. So it's buy low to a certain degree. They don't have to go out and spend too much. It probably will end up being like 1 first-round pick for them, and they can exhaust that. They can use that because their pick is not going to be that great. You go out and use the salary that matches MPJ's contract, and now you have a legitimate scoring option, a legitimate shooter. Of course, they have Duncan Robinson, and Tobias Harris can knock down a couple shots here and there, but overall, you look at the season Michael Porter Jr. is having, I think he would be a huge boost to the Pistons' chances in the East. How do you feel? Michael Porter Jr. for the Detroit Pistons.
I mean, if we're just judging on this season, man, what a great move.
Oh, it would be incredible.
Right? That's the issue, is just like, how much do you trust what this season's been? How much of this is great stats on a bad team guy? I happen to believe in it. I mean, the shooting is real. This guy is a locked, I mean, just complete lights out shooter. Shoots off movement.
Yeah.
He can't put it on the floor, which is the one thing I think Detroit could use, especially in that starting lineup, is another guy who could put it on the floor.
Sure.
But with his shooting, like, you'll have more space for Cade to operate. I don't hate it. And then the money's not too bad, and it's not too long, which is the most important thing. This isn't like, I mean, he doesn't have 4 years left on his deal. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I don't hate it. I like it better for them than I like it for the Warriors, who have been rumored to be interested in Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
If I was the Warriors are not in the contender conversation for me.
No.
If I was them, I would go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off and trade Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga for Anthony Davis and just try it, because when have they ever had a guy as big as Anthony Davis? Ever,
Right.
I think Maurice Spates is maybe the biggest player they've ever had. Like, I don't know, Bogut.
I mean, Bogut was there.
Yeah, Bogut's the biggest player there.
Yeah, Anderson Varejao was there. Come on,
Varejao doesn't. I mean, come on. He was old. He wasn't even the Varejao that we know anymore. But anyways,
I got another guy for you, S, and this is like smaller down. Okay, I could see one of these teams maybe trying to get Keon Ellis. He's available. He's not being used. It seems like you probably could pick him up kind of cheap. And maybe one of these teams, they're like, hey, we could use a 9th guy. We need a spark plug off the bench. We need a guy who can defend. I don't know.
I like it. Yeah. Maybe who's the team to do that?
By the way, the Ivica Zubac to Boston rumors are starting to heat up. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. And there's a way for Boston. I think that they could, even if they wanted, to loop in, like the Clippers and Dallas, right? Like, loop everyone into a 3-team trade. There's a way to make everyone happy. You could send AD out to the Clippers. Zug winds up in Boston. And then, you're doing salary moves basically, but everyone could duck the tax. Everybody could save some money. Like, it's funny how the math works out. And then the Mavericks could wind up with some draft picks and expiring contracts.
I like that idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's, again, this is like, I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there in an audio and video format with no graphic for it. But I think that there's whatever we see happening here with some of these guys, just because the money is so big on some of the contracts that they want to move. I think we're going to see more 3- and 4-team deals like we have the last few seasons, where just that's what it takes to get across the finish line.
So I'm gonna share my screen here. I don't know if people can see it, if you can present it for them. This is the Pistons trade that I cooked up earlier as we were talking for Michael Porter Jr. to be on the Pistons. But let's do the 3-team deal that you were talking about. Why not? Let's give it a shot. You mentioned the Clippers, the Celtics.
Clippers, Celtics, Mavericks.
Okay.
And the idea would be, the principles being, Ivica Zubac winds up in Boston. Anthony Davis winds up on the Clippers. And then you wind up with essentially, like, I think Anthony Simons' salary probably winds up in Dallas.
Okay, so Simons, and let's go Sam Hauser to Dallas. Both of those guys to Dallas. Let's go Anthony Davis to the Clippers. Let's go ahead and put Ivica Zubac to Boston. And I'm guessing Boston would have to send a couple of picks here to Dallas.
Oh, for sure. Dallas needs to get some draft capital out of this for sure.
So let's see what else we need to do. The Clippers need to shed more salary here. Oh, right. So it'll be, Bogdan Bogdanović will end up going to Dallas as well.
Yes, that's it.
And probably a little bit more here. You probably have to send maybe John Collins as well to Dallas.
I believe so.
There you go. And that's your trade. It doesn't work right now because of hard cap situations. Dallas probably needs to shed some salary, but something along the lines of Zubac to the Celtics, and then you have a bunch of salary plus picks going to the Mavericks and Anthony Davis.
And Collins, Simons are both expiring. Is Zubac also is Bogdanović also expiring?
Bogdanović has a 1-year deal after this,
and I'm not sure if it's
fully
guaranteed or not.
Yeah.
But either way, the Mavs get to reset their books, kind of. I mean, they still have Kyrie there, but they definitely are in a better cap space. And now the picks. Look, I think if they get any picks, the Boston picks probably aren't going to be any good. Yeah, but you could pick up some assets for sure. And that's just I think that if Boston winds up getting, and as good as Keita's been this year, Neemias Queta, by the way, does Boston have a couple of guys in the most improved player race right now?
Oh yeah.
I mean, right. As good as he's been, he is not a guy that I would want to go into the playoffs if I felt like I was able to contend, which, may be a thing for them. All right, let's get to the next question. That was a lot of time on a fake trade. Yeah, sorry. Okay, we got a couple of Rockets questions. So, we'll just do these back to back. From JMS3035 in the Discord, Rockets fan here, left the U.S. for the holidays, so wasn't locked into the games, but got notifications that both Jokic and Valanciunas suffered medium-term injuries. By the way, it doesn't include Cam Johnson in here. You missed that one.
Yeah.
And assumed Houston would be able to take advantage in the standings. Why hasn't that happened, S?
Well, Şengün is out also. And that's more of a recent development, but he's out for 10 to 14 days. And so you see a team that is now kind of scrambling to be able to find some offense next to Valanciunas. But truthfully, if you look at their last little bit of schedule, they have taken advantage. It's just that the rest of the West is also very, very good. They beat the Lakers on Christmas. They beat the Cavs. They took care of business against the Pacers, Nets, and Mavericks. And they lost to the Mavericks, but they beat the Suns. I think overall they have taken care of business. It's just
they've picked up 2 games, I think, in the last 10. The truth is that the Nuggets, like, stealing a win over the Sixers the other day unexpectedly, right? They haven't. I mean, look, they are gonna go into a free fall. They just are too shorthanded. They don't have the talent, but 4-6 in their last 10 for the Nuggets, 6-4 in their last 10 for the Rockets. So, I mean, it just, you can't win them all, sadly. And here's another Rockets question from Jack P, also from the Discord. What chance do you give the Rockets in the playoffs without a true point guard? I actually think their defense will cover a multitude of sins, but not sure they'll have enough to make it out of the West. Love the pod. Avid listener from London. So
thank you very much, mate. Appreciate you.
This is the late afternoon shoot around.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Little cup of tea shoot around for them. Yeah. Look, I like the Rockets' chances against certain matchups, and the playoffs end up just being a matchup problem for every team. And so, do I like the Rockets' chances against the Lakers? Yes, I do, because I think they have the infrastructure defensively to do that, and then offensively, they can try to keep up with their combination of KD and Şengün. Also, like, the Rockets are huge, right? They have the offensive rebounding that can really be an advantage over the Lakers. Do I like that against the Nuggets, who they have beat this year, by the way? I'm not necessarily sure. I'm not sold on the fact that they can beat the Nuggets in a series because of how elite the Nuggets offense is consistently. And the way those two teams have played each other this year. I mean, Dave, we watched the game together, but in clutch moments, I kind of trust the Nuggets offense more than anything in the world.
Yeah. I mean, well, Jokic is maybe the greatest clutch player in NBA history.
There's an argument for it. And then the Murray Jokic connection is the easiest bread and butter connection out there in the NBA.
And what is the Rockets' bread and butter? Because your bread and butter can't be we get the offensive rebound, and you know what I mean?
Exactly,
like that.
We hope KD or Şengün can create something for us. Yeah, I think there's a little.
By the way, and bread and butter is a real thing. Like I will tell you, just like coach, like we call them butter plays. Like I kept them in my back pocket on index card because it was like, hey, I got to pull this out. I don't know what they pull out in Houston. And I know that the last few years, like this has kind of been a thing before Kevin Durant was there. Now you get to play the Kevin Durant card. Hey, KD, go get us a bucket and take the shot. And that's what like the NBA accepts that. But
can I say one thing?
With the Nuggets, they can run stuff.
So there's one team that I think the Rockets have a pretty decent advantage. Not advantage, but they have a good matchup against them. The Thunder. Because they have the size to switch everything. The driving lanes will not be there as much as you'd want for SGA and Jalen Williams. Obviously, they have the offensive rebounding. They can go double big while OKC goes double big. Both teams, I think, have their flaws offensively, especially in the half court. And so it comes down to who can the other guys make shots for you, right? I probably still trust the Thunder in that situation. But if it were a series and if it were a 7-game series, I think the Rockets have a shot.
If the Thunder aren't shooting it and the Rockets are zoned up, they're getting every rebound.
It's very similar to the Nuggets situation, just with way better infrastructure defensively for the Rockets, right?
Yeah, I can see it. By the way, we got a comment in YouTube. Can we change this this is from Shaft1519. Can we change this to an apology episode on the Detroit Pistons because you kept insisting the Celtics and Knicks are the best in the East? Non-Pistons fan here, I swear. Well, it doesn't sound like it. I will say sometimes guys were just asking questions. You know, sometimes we're just wondering.
By the way,
sometimes I just want to talk about Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics.
That's absolutely
and the way
true.
I do that is say, hey, are they actually secretly the best team in the East?
Right.
Well, maybe not.
I will say also, I think there is you'll find a trend in conversations for teams like this. Even last year with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who had not done it before. Exactly. It's the whole haven't done it before mentality. When you don't prove it, when you don't have a history there of experience, most people, most schmucks like Dave and I will come on here and say, well, they have to prove it. And I think the Pistons have to prove it still.
It's one of the cliche things about like what we do that is honestly true. Because there's plenty of teams that have good. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah,
man, they were great last year in the regular season,
but they
weren't the best team in the East. They weren't the best team in the East. So I think that the regular season is great, and like we have been giving this team a lot of pats on the head because they've taken a huge leap this year. And I don't think this is their ceiling. By the way, I think this is a team that will be a perennial Eastern Conference finalists because they have Cade Cunningham and Jalen Durant. They have so much talent. And then the time
crazy. They're only 2.5 games back of the Thunder for the best record in the league.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I know the Thunder have been stumbling recently, so that kind of adds to this whole thing. But when you talk about like futures and long-term building out your team, the Pistons have it very, very good because Durant is now an all-star caliber player. Cade is now an MVP caliber player. And even if Ivy didn't work out or hasn't worked out yet, you still have Asar Thompson. You still have Ron Holland, guys who maybe can become really good players for you as well. And the flexibility and cap space and picks, right? We just talked about the fact that they can go out and get Michael Porter Jr. and it wouldn't even hurt them really, right?
Yeah.
That's the level of flexibility that the Pistons have when it comes to their future. To that point, Also, I do want us to get our praise for last year because I called the Pistons making a leap last year, and I just want, the receipts have to be there,
I will get you some Pistons team gear in the mail, I'm sure, for that one.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, and we got a good question here. King of Fools from Discord. I need help. Right. Every time my favorite team, and by the way, favorite spelled with a U, so I'm assuming a Commonwealth country here. My favorite team misses a shot. I hate them, and when they hit them, I love them, and I'm becoming unstable. Need advice ASAP. Look, I'll tell you, your favorite team hates you. That's actually what it is.
Hey, I don't know. I'd be curious how old they are.
That's a good question. I'll say this. I used to be, as a kid, I was such a very passionate sports fan, not in a like yelling at people or arguing with people sort of way, but like I was passionate in that when Roger Craig fumbled the football in the NFC Championship game in 1990, because Steve Young was left-handed and Joe Montana was right-handed, and it was a weird handoff, and he fumbled, and it ended the three-peat. I cried.
Yeah,
when Michael Jordan and my Bulls won the first title in 91, I mean, I cried with them. So I used to be like very into it, but then I replaced that as a coach with being an absolute psychopath in rooting for my team while I'm coaching them. I mean, leaning on one foot with every single jump shot, just doing everything. So I actually think like part of enjoying sports is embracing that instability. Right. I love them and hate them. And it's sort of like I go into a book. If I'm reading fiction, I suspend reality. I'm going to exist in that reality. I think it's fun, right? Like we talk about sports as an escape. And of course, we know like we are all looking for escapes every single day now. Absolutely. But I think that that's part of the fun part is that, man, your team hates you.
Yeah. And you know what? For some sports fans, and I say this as a guy who grew up being a Toronto Raptors fan, and if you look at sports fans in general from Toronto, they are very, I guess, they've had a traumatic history because of the Maple Leafs. I'm not a Maple Leafs fan. I'm not a big hockey guy in general, but Maple Leafs fandom has a lot of trauma to it. Blue Jays fandom, even though they won the World Series twice in the 90s, has a level of trauma to it because of the amount of times they had opportunities and didn't. So sports fandom in general is about heartbreak. And when you embrace that level of it, when you accept the fact that it's like, hey, you are going to win some and you're going to lose some, there will be an ease to which you accept every shot made and miss. Also, age is a big thing because when I was a kid, when I was 16, 17, I lived and breathed for every shot made, every game, every transaction, et cetera, et cetera. If the Raptors were to pick someone up, I'd be like, oh, this is life-changing. PJ Tucker is on the Toronto Raptors now. That doesn't apply anymore. Well, and I had that feeling when the Blue Jays made it to the World Series this year. It was like my fan side activated for the first time in years, and I could actually try and enjoy this. Unfortunately, the Dodgers, the Death Star, evil empire, ended up winning. And it's a perfect representation of society today.
I get to be like Rob Lowe, he wore the NFL hat on the side. I get to be like that. I did see my buddy Kirk Goldsberry had an NBA hat.
I saw that too.
Yeah, Tim Frank, send me one of those hats, man. I'll wear that thing on the show. Okay. Before we get out of here, S, anything else on your mind? I know we're gonna record a show tonight for for Thursday morning release. But anything else top of mind before we get out of here?
No, I think overall, just to kind of keep in mind as the season drags along for everybody, this part of the season is actually important. There are actual things that matter because the data suggests that January and February determine going to win the NBA championship. Like whoever is performing right now in this moment, and it's funny because the Thunder are not performing well right now. The Nuggets are dealing with injuries and et cetera, et cetera. I think the teams that end up being the most successful in the postseason are usually the teams that end up being good in January and February. And so you look at it, the Boston Celtics have won 4 in a row. The Detroit Pistons are tracking along and doing things regularly. The Knicks struggling, the Thunder struggling. I don't know. It just feels like this might be predictive.
We're in the snowball fight section of the season.
Yeah.
Also, before we go, we got a YouTube commenter, OG unnamed YouTube user, who said, if you want to hold receipts, Dave has a lot of making up to do for saying Cade isn't going to be a star for years.
He did apologize.
I apologized. Okay. Hey, yeah. I just don't see, and he quotes me, I just don't see it with Cade yet. Don't leave out the yet. I try not to write guys off, but the thing is, with the way that Cade came into the league, the way he was touted, I really expected more early. And part of this was injury related, which I always try to give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, he had an ankle injury to start his NBA career, and it was a bad one. So, I mean, even like some of the shooting stuff with him early on, I think he got a little bit of a rough start. But
I will say you've come around.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, he's come around. Okay. Yeah. So like, let's not act like the guy didn't get better, because he definitely did. But I see it now.
Hey, I'll ask this. Who do you think is a player right now that you don't see it for yet that might be able to make that come around for you as well?
I mean, I would say maybe Scotty Barnes, but it's all about his offense, right?
Sure.
And it's just not there. I mean, Scotty Barnes is a very good player, but I just like him being an all-star to me, like borderline all-star.
I would say, well, yeah. We have
I don't, you know what I mean? But no, I mean, from a talent perspective, right? Like to be a borderline all-star for him is right, but the offensive part of his game. So I just don't see that coming.
Yeah, I think the thing with Scotty, it's sort of, and there will be Raptors fans who hate this. Yeah. It's a little bit Bam Adebayo-y, where it's like he provides such a baseline for everything because of what he is as a defender and a rebounder and a guy who like wins minutes consistently. But the offense has not gotten to the point where people, and Bam is also a very talented passer, much like Scotty Barnes is a talented passer. So that's how they survive on the offensive end. But scoring, right? Scoring output is the huge thing for him. And we've seen,
by the way, there's plenty of guys that I've missed on a ton of guys. Yeah. Plenty of times. I loved Perry Ellis III. Right. I mean, let me full disclosure. I thought he was going to be good.
Yeah, I was watching
or Perry Jones. Sorry, no,
I can't even remember. I think I was Perry Jones. Perry Jones the third. Great. Went in Europe and played some great basketball.
Yeah, good. I don't know why I said Perry Ellis, by the way. But but also I saw Jaylen Brown and saw this vision of Jaylen Brown. I don't know, like this is when you do this every single day, the hits and misses. I can't keep track of them. Yeah, I think about the Cade miss all the time though, because the guy has been that good, and this is now a season and a half of this. This isn't like I'm just eating crow here. Like I ate crow all last year too.
I will say the guy right now for me that's kind of doing that is Keontae George, because I wasn't that high on him.
No, actually, Keontae is a guy that I was low on too. I was saying, you know what? He just gets hot sometimes. But the shooting,
streaky.
This shooting improvement seems to be pretty real. One more question before we go from our guy who called me out on the Cade thing. I like that Dave will own it, which is thank you for the compliment. But also he asked, do you think Scotty Barnes will be all NBA once? And
so much of it has to do with the 65
game rule. Yeah. That's it. If that goes away, I would lean no.
Yeah, but I think that probably doesn't end up going away, maybe it does. Who knows? But like this season, he has a good chance because there's no Tatum. A bunch of guys are not eligible. Like there's actually an opportunity for him to end up sneaking in there because of that type of stuff. So yeah, who knows?
Awesome. Well, if you were here with us on YouTube, thank you so much for hanging out. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do. We're having fun. We've been watching games there together. Obviously a lot of just discussion about stuff happening in the NBA. And please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to this podcast, because I think it's important. I see the good ones and I ignore the bad ones. So, just leave good ones. Anyway, thanks to Es for hanging out. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been NBA Daily Morning Shootaround. Until the dawn, until the dawn.